I'm Jamie Forbes of Fine Art Magazine. We're here at the Hamptons Film Festival with
Amy Glazer from Seducing Charlie Barker by Teresa Rebeck.
And you flew in from San Francisco, correct?
I did. Last night. Yes.
Oh, really? So you have no jet lag? No, not today.
Not really. I have to say, it is so beautiful here at the Hamptons that, and as a child I used to come here quite a bit. My uncle was a film producer who produced the producers and 12 chairs, Take the Money and Run. So it's just evoked so many childhood memories. Yeah, it's very familiar.
So I want to thank you for joining us, and I want you to tell us a bit about your film.
Seducing Charlie Barker is a modern-day morality tale. It exposes in a very satirical light the disingenuousness and the values of the entertainment industry. And it really takes a sometimes dark and sometimes funny, but always satirical look at this industry that values meaninglessness.
Yes,
that values a lack of values, and I think one of the things that makes Teresa Rebeck's writing so wonderful and so poignant and also pungent is the fact that she is somebody who really is excited by bad behavior. She captures it in such an authentic way. And this is a play about some very bad behavior.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's what makes it sexy and funny, but also compelling and heartfelt at times.
Well, it's interesting because I had been reviewing the froth and the valuelessness of the situation. Steve and I, my partner in this, have been reviewing the fact that people don't follow through and do what they say, which is a lack of value. And then I've been taken with the fact that there's so much incredible in-depth mentality to penetrate mental space or dimension in order to convey a story. It's very hard for the general public to be able to identify. It sounds like your particular film has this quality, and that you've lent this through the shooting of your film, the directing of your film, to deliver a message.
You know, it's interesting because the film began as a play, and I think that there's something about getting inside of the structure, because it was a play first, that really makes turning it then into a film kind of second nature. It was like, it's like you start speaking a language in a dream and you realize, oh wow, I always spoke this language. I've been a theater director for 2 decades. And when I started directing my first feature, which was also a film by Stephen Belver, who's a playwright, and now this one, it's so second nature, and I think it's because I first cracked the code. I first live inside the story as a theater director, and in theater, in plays, structure is everything. And so once you understand the structure, then you can deconstruct it, but you also understand as a storyteller how an audience is going to respond. I've already sat through previews where I watched how an audience responds.
So it's story-driven is what you're saying.
It's very story-driven, it's very character-driven, it's very dialogue-driven, and I think for that reason we've been compared to Woody Allen a lot. I've been compared to Woody Allen a lot, but I think it's because the dialogue is so indicative of the characters. It so evokes a particular, you know, there is about an out-of-work actor who meets this young succubus and you know, at a party, and she's like, oh my bad, and you know, and she like talks the talk, and she just seems so stupid and like such a moron really, and then you realize that in her own way she has learned how to work this system and this world, and that she and you watch the power that somebody who seems so innocuous initially can have. It kind of reminds me of Anton Chekhov's The Three Sisters.
Oh, that's interesting.
She's like the Natasha. It's very manipulative, and that's what I mean when I say bad behavior. I mean, you look at this girl and you think, oh my God, but then every party I go to, even here in the Hamptons, there's hundreds. They're all over the place. We're in the minority these days.
Oh, that's very
They are
funny.
being bred. I don't know where they're coming from. It's like a sea of cockroaches. These beautiful young women who have learned to. It's almost like a cottage industry, utilizing the superficial as a way of insinuating yourself into industry, into a relationship.
Well, it makes the feminists of the 80s and the 90s and actually the 70s feel like they've lost their way. because the values are not being constructed into
It's amazing.
any of the jobs or the approaches to jobs or approaches to life or structuring. But to get back to your ability to focus on story and then take the tools of constructing the tools of your trade, whether it be on stage with lighting and sets and placement and how you want your actors and actresses to deliver dialogue, and then deliver it through a film medium or a video medium where you're able to, through filters and lenses and direction, offer a slightly different touch of velvet or orientation into a depth of character.
Well, because you can focus in a different way. A theater play, it's always the long shot. When you go to a play, you are only seeing the experience through the proscenium arch, which is a wide shot, a long shot. In film, all of a sudden, I can do a cutaway to your hand. I can do a close-up of your eyes. So it permits a kind of focus that stage really doesn't have.
So you bring these tools and you can combine the tools of theater and directing in theater through the film medium, because you have an in-depth background and you're able to deliver storyline. What's important to you is storyline.
Story and character. Well, behavior. To me, character is revealed through behavior, and an opportunity through story to experience behavior. I mean, the interesting thing about these succubuses we've just been discussing is that they are succeeding.
Oh yeah.
It's not like the bad behavior is somehow hurting them.
Oh yeah.
It's working.
Oh no, it's being rewarded. I sat with a young Russian woman who was talking about how to get through to the ultra personality of Russian billionaires, and she felt that this was an entitlement, and if she succeeded, she'd get the trophy and she'd be rewarded.
Right.
And I remember in my generation, my brother saying to me, how did you meet these people? Because I would meet all sorts of people. And I would just be walking down the street and meet people. And he'd say, what are you, a groupie? I'd say, no, I'm not. I wouldn't do anything like that. And you remember the people who just hung out back of the stage waiting to meet people or engineered. Right. So it's not a cultural element I particularly extol. You're not extolling it through the play, but the play is delivering the element. Right,
and the play is exposing the element. I mean, the film. And I think the film has been much more successful, really, than the play because, well, the story is a little different, but it really makes us look at our own behavior and our own values, and what the entertainment industry is so seductive. It's so enticing. It's something that draws us in, and then you realize, what are we drawn in for? I mean, is this what we spent our lives working for? To do a telenovela, or to do some like crappy, it's like, when do we look up as a culture and say we must start valuing meaning again?
The art.
Produces
story.
The art and story. And I'll tell you what I find
Where
most
did the Greek
satisfying.
chorus go?
Exactly. Well, we are the Greek chorus.
Yes.
The audience is the Greek chorus. And what I find so satisfying at this point, now that I'm at the festivals and I'm seeing my film experience through an audience, because the difference between a play and a film is also the play you rehearse for 2.5 weeks, and then you have previews, and immediately you start adjusting based on what an audience does. A film, you are alone for so long. I mean, for 6 months in a room editing with your editor, and so you don't really know how an audience is going to respond. And my only memory is almost a kind of a muscle memory of how they responded to the play, but it's now different. So when I watch an audience and like a machine, they gasp at the same place and they laugh at the same place, that's all structure, that's all story. And it reminds me, I don't care what anyone says, that at the end of the day, good writing and good acting is the bottom line. And
that's fact. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
And the name of the film again?
Seducing Charlie Barker.
And your name again?
Amy Glazer.
Amy, where can we find you online if people want to get in touch with you or see the film or find locations for the film?
We have a website called Seducing Charlie Barker, not Parker, but Barker.com. Kind of the everyman. So seducingcharliebarker.com, and on there you can see our press, you can see our festivals. We've been to about 13 festivals so far. We've won about 8 or 10 awards.
Perfect.
And there's a nice grassroots response, and I think it's because there's something authentic about my story.
Well, there's something very authentic about you. So thank you for sharing time with me. Jamie Forbes, Fine Art Magazine, thank you very much.